Digital health is the current way most of the practices fail to have a strategy. You need to have a website. There's a science behind how the flow of the website has to go. So building a physical infrastructure, let's build a digital infrastructure. So these are different designs how we have built. With ready-made templates, you can build your own websites, and that's how easily you can grow your practice and have a digital presence. Hello, healthcare professionals. Dr. Sajan here, digital healthcare consultant, and today we'll be looking into 7 essential website terminologies every doctors, healthcare professionals, and anyone in the healthcare domain must basically understand. Being in the digital era and the digital healthcare is growing in a rampant way, these basic terminologies and understanding is very important for all of us to understand it in the basic way, so that we can implement that in our practice, so that we can help our consumers, patients, or someone who is looking into the solutions of what you're providing can get the avail through a digital space. Right? So with that, let's dive into the topic, and let me give you a wonderful analogy of how you can understand this in a very simple manner. So with that, first let's look into who is this particular video is directed to. First is all the allopathic doctors and healthcare professionals from the allopathic sides, and yes, Ayurvedic too, because this is also relevant to you: homeopathy, dental, naturopathy, physiotherapy, nutritionists, wellness experts, and healthcare coaches, right? And anyone others from healthcare domain would greatly benefit from the basic understanding of digital space, right? We are talking about moving to digital health, right? So that's what is happening at this point. Post COVID, there's been a huge way of transformation in the way how the healthcare is delivered, and digital health is the current way of how the entire health is getting delivered, and you have to also start adopting that. For that, the basic thing, let's start with understanding some terminologies in website work, because that's the phase of your entire practice online. Either be a doctor, lab, pharmacy, a technician, or a coach, you need to have a website, and that's where we'll be discussing today. What is it, and why it is required, and what is it takes to have a website, right? Let's dive there. See, if you look into the internet space, there are a lot of websites from different practitioners, and even you would also have some website like this, which looks like this, right? So the main reason most of the website don't get any tractions, and I know I've been discussing with many of the colleagues and healthcare professionals, doctors in digital space, for them to transform their practice from the physical alone to an hybrid or a digital practice, right? So when it comes to looking into the websites, you can see that there is no clear. See, one of the main problem is you're not giving a clear message to your audience. You're not giving what they want, right? You're trying to tell them what you want to tell them rather than what they want to hear from you, right? And it becomes too clumsy and too many content which is there on your website, which actually distracts the patients or the consumers to get the real information what they're here for, right? And that's where not having a specific strategy to have a flow in the website and just building a website, just putting some graphics and glossy things on your website doesn't make a website work, right? Specifically how your consumer wants, right? So the problem is, you can see that these are all the strong indications that most of the practices fail, right? And to have a strategy, right? So when you look at, if you give me a website, and if I just look into the website, I can say that there is no specific strategy on which this website is built, and it's just not useful for the consumer, right? And let me tell you, because there is most of the practices don't have a strategy, it becomes a very easy formula to have a success, and becomes very easy because it takes for you to just have a strategy in place, and that will bring you an huge traction in the digital space by just having a specific strategized website, Okay, let me emphasize on it, strategized website. And that's where having a specific strategy before you build and launch your website is a very understanding thing. And you need to have is that scientific approach of how a website is built. Website is not just built with some pictures and images, right? There's a science behind how the flow of the website has to go, what has to come on the top, bottom, and the next. And that's what we'll be discussing in the further videos. But today we'll be looking into how the website works and how what are the terminologies. So before we go ahead and do it today, the topic is more about clarifying the concepts. And further videos which you can see next is design flow strategy, designing principles, design tool structures, and website creation is the last one, where we are going to do hands-on creation of the website. But however, today's topic, you can first of all, let me clear one thing first thing. Yes, if you're watching this till now, and if that's been something interesting for you, let me tell you, having no technical background, you can design your own website. Okay, being a doctor myself, I have developed more than hundreds of websites now, because as of passion and learned it hard way. But now with all the advanced technology, with a lot of AI in space, so you can build your own websites, and that's what I'm here to give you basic information. From there you can build your own website. Okay, so you don't have to be a developer or core training for building a website. Just basic understanding of what is a strategy is and how the structure has to come, and you can launch your own website. And also we have ready-made templates, built up templates designed in a scientific way, so that you can use that too and just launch in just 10 minutes. Your website would be up and running, right? So that will be discussing in the further videos. But now let's move on to understand the core concepts and some clarity behind terminologies, right? So let's, before getting into building an digital infrastructure, let's first understand how do we build a how, for example, if you're building a hospital or a clinic or a lab or a pharmacy or whatever the healthcare domain you are in. So what is the things when you do a physical infrastructure, which you already know? Okay, so let's do a relatedness, right? How can you relate one known thing to an unknown thing, right? We all have learned in pedagogy, or when we teach and train, right, our students. So that's where we have learned that the pedagogy training, so you need to relate, right? Teaching and training, you need to relate the known object with an unknown object, and that's where you can understand better. And that's what a concept which you're going to apply today now for you to understand this better. Okay, so building a physical infrastructure, right? If you're building a hospital, what does it takes? The first thing is you need to register the name. Second, once you register the name, you need to know what land you're going to select, and you need to either pay the rent or buy the land, right? Third one, you need to have some construction tools. And you can have one more thing is you need to know what all departments, how many buildings you want, what are the departments you're going to have, and you should know how to hire staffs and hire them regularly. And you need to have a reception and an outsourcing organization where you outsource most of your work, which is not actually core of your business, right? So these are the things what it takes to build a physical infrastructure. So let me do one thing here. So now let's build relatedness from a digital infrastructure, building a digital infrastructure to an physical infrastructure. Okay, so let's build a digital infrastructure at this point now. So to building a digital infrastructure, same relatedness. First, you require a name registration, which is called as a domain name registration. Okay, second one is a land selection, which is also called as hosting, okay, in the digital space. And third one is construction tools, which are required to construct the entire hospital or a clinic, so which is called as design tools. Okay, and the third one, so the fourth one is departments. So you need to have so if you have multi-specialty clinic, you're going to have a dental, you're going to have a medicine practice, you're going to OBG practice or something like that. So different departments, so that is where you need to have pages, right? So basically how the number of blocks you're going to have there. Okay, and the fifth one is staff. You're going to hire people to work for you, and that's where the staffs, without staff the business will not run, right? It's because it's a teamwork, and that's where just having a website, just building a hospital, it will not work. You need to have people working inside it. So that's where the core understanding of this entire process is blogs. Unless you have blogs, you write blogs on a regular basis, your website will not work, right? So there is no role of your website, right? So if you have a hospital and if you don't have staff in it, how can that work? In the same way, blogs becomes a very important part of your website. Okay, then you're going to have a reception where people can come and contact you. In the same way, when it comes to digital space, it would be forms or chat bot or something like that. Okay, then we have seventh one, that is work outsourcing. So whatever things which is not core of your business and you want to get it integrated, so that's where we, through some third party, someone else already have doing some business, we get them to on platform, for example appointment booking, hospital information system, electronic medical records. So all these are something which is already built. You don't have to build from scratch, right? So just thing, you don't have to build things from scratch. There are already existing players in the market. Just get the subscription and add it to your website. That becomes more efficient. You don't have the headache of maintaining those softwares and things, right? Again, it's a huge cost to build one. So that's where we're looking into the integrations. Now let me, this is the terminologies, these are 7 terminologies which I just explained. So now let me give you an analogy and a better understanding of how these 7 terminologies are easy to understand. Okay, the first thing is name registration, right? So let me move my video to on the other side. Right. So the first one is name registration. That's where it's called as domain name. So your hospital name, your clinic name, your lab name registration is what is the first one. You understand, right? The first one. Second, now you need to go and look for a land, right? So you're going to select a land in the physical space. So now in the digital space, you cannot buy. There is a concept of buying, but we'll not look into the buying. So basically, you normally rent a land, right? You take it for a rent, and you just build your building, build your website or a building. It's called as in the internet space. So that's called as hosting. So domain is the name registration. Hosting is the renting of land in the internet space, okay, where you can build your own digital presence. So you have to pay rent on a monthly basis when it comes to land selection. That's called as hosting, which you pay and a monthly rent, okay, which will be discussed. We shall show you how much, what is the cost, everything in the later slides. Okay. Right. And now, once you finish those two, the third one is construction tools. So, which is also called as design tools in the digital space, where you're gonna, those tools will help you to build your entire, design your entire websites. Okay, which we'll be discussing later. And then coming to the department. So what are the number of pages which is required? And we also have a little bit advanced concept later on in how we are going to build a building in a different way. But now, so for example, you have a main building, then you have a pediatric department, then you have a cardiac department, then you have an emergency department, then you have an outpatient department, something like this. So all these are becomes pages. So each of the departments becomes a page, or each of the concepts can also be a page, right? So you got that. So now the main part of your website lies here, and the functioning of your entire website lies on staff. That is how many people you're gonna make work for you, right? That is called as posts, or we also called it as a blog, right? So these are people actually working in your hospital, the staffs who is gonna work in a hospital to deliver the value to your consumers or the patients, right? So when it comes to blogs, blogs are actually articles. What are blogs? Blogs are articles, right? For example, a diabetes, so you talk about what is diabetes, how is diabetes, how many patients you have treated, tell stories about some patients who have gone through something difficult and how you help them, and some tips on how they can get better by understanding this. So this is an article which you put it on the website. It now works as someone who is gonna inform patients by they reading it. So it's gonna be work for you 24/7, 365 days on the internet space. And that's an amazing concept. Though, so basically, the more blogs you write, the more staffs is like more staffs you're gonna hire for your website to run 365 days 24 by 7, right? So that becomes an amazing thing. So but it takes around 6 months to get that traction. But of course, from day one itself, you can see the number of people who are coming from your location and also from globally. Also people would get your traction and you get that branding online, right? So all this happens with the blog. So the more blogs, the more staffs. Okay, and then you have something called as a reception, which is called as a contact form, where people can come and contact you, or book an appointment or chat with your representative, right? And then we something called as work outsourcing, right? When it comes to hospital settings, right? So we have something, we do work outsourcing. For example, in most of the hospitals, the cleaners or the cleaning of the hospital is done by an outsourced agency. The laundry is done by an outsourced agency. The catering is done by outsourced agency. The finances, all the things are handled by an outsourcing business partner, right? Same when it comes to website, right? So we have again integrations where we don't have to build all these costly technologies and hire staffs to maintain it. So what we can do is we can just outsource, basically outsource, that is called as in the digital space, which called as integration. And for example, what are the examples of integration? We can have appointment system, which again you can get it for free, you don't have to pay. There are free versions and the paid versions. Based on what is required, you can take a subscription or you can use the free versions itself. So it's not an mandatory thing. So payment systems, electronic medical records, patient engagement system, social media engagement systems, which also can be integrated with the website, live online cams you can do, private community systems. So these are all basically different systems which gets connected to your website system, so that works like entire digital eco space, okay, ecosystem, where your entire value addition for your consumers or patients can be added, right? So that's how it works. So hope you can understand by some terminologies, right? Some automation tools where you, again, in the digital space, you can do a lot of automations where without you lifting a finger, patients or your consumers can get engaged, get added value and get information through automations, right? So these are how, when you're building a digital infrastructures, so having that domain, which is the name registration, land, hosting, construction tools, design tools, departments, which is pages, staffs, which are called as blocks, reception, which is called as contact forms, and work outsourcing, which is called as integration. So these are the 7 things. What if you know the basic understanding, what you just learned is the core of your entire way of getting digitalization, right? Because when you go and start to talk to any agencies on the local or through online, so these are the terms which they put across and you need to at least understand the basics. And because this is going to be the next way of how the healthcare is going to roll out, right? So digital health is coming in a big way, and websites are the mandatory options you need to have to build your brand, right? Without branding, you will not be able to scale into that level. And that's why telling, having that your website and start writing blogs, because blogs cannot happen in one day. So you can write one blog in maybe 2 or 3 days, and takes long time to write maybe 500 or 1000 blogs, right? So it takes time. The more time you are writing blogs, the more website becomes mature, and Google search engine will put you on the top for the search engine optimization. A lot of things happens behind that. This is a very simple basic explanation of how these entire 7 structures are. Now let's move ahead to understand. So we understood the physical infrastructure and we compared that to an digital infrastructure. So now let's understand how this entire 7 steps, and if you have to create a website, so what is the cost to build one website, right? How much does it take for me to build one website? And if you can do it by yourself, what would be the cost which you're saving, right? So of course there is no harm in outsourcing, but still you can do it. That's what I'm telling. And you, if I can do it, you can do it. That's simple as it. But yeah, so let's look into the costing. Like, so what are the costs? One, when you're registering a name, you need to pay for the government. So registering as the name is a unique name globally. No one else. If you take a .com, xyz.com, so no one in the globe can take that .com again. So or .in, right? So that is one cost, which will cost you again yearly cost. Land circulation, as I told, it's a renting on a space, internet space. Again, you have to pay rent every month, so you normally pay on a yearly basis. Construction tools, so it's a one time, if you have to build an infrastructure in online space, there are tools which has to be used to build that, and that is also one of the cost. And if you're outsourcing, and whatever the outsourcing as per you require, again the cost depends, right? So now let's get into the costing. So for the first thing, let me suggest you one of the popular place where I have most of my domains is GoDaddy, and most of you also would have already heard of this company. So the first thing is name registrations. Let me put my video here. Yeah, the first thing is domain name registrations, right? So that I would suggest you can go through GoDaddy. I have put the link in the description. Just click the link and you'll be able to get to the website. So which is normally cost you around 600 to 1,300 rupees per year, based on either it's a .in or .com or what the suffix is. Okay, so that's a basic charge, right? So now let's move to the next one. That is, now you have to select the land, right? So the one of the again top what do you call as platform which provides hosting is GoDaddy, right? So let's take the WordPress hosting thing, and for example, if you're taking the managed WordPress basic version for hosting, they're gonna charge you around 329 rupees per month. But just you need to also read the lines below. You pay first year is so much, but from the second year it will charge you around 6,588, right? So that is the second year renewal. So always the first year is always a discount. When it comes to hosting, always read the second year recurring charge, okay? Because that's where it is gonna increase, and that's where you need to be very cautious. So I'll take this cost of website hosting as 6,000 plus 6,500, right? Because that's the recurring cost and not the 3,009, that's around 4,000. Okay, so that becomes one thing. And the second thing is we need a design tool, right? So when it comes to design tool, Elementor, when you're going for GoDaddy, that means you're going for an WordPress based website. So when it comes to design tool, you need to take a design tool which costs around 5,000 rupees, 4,800, right? So basically, if I make a calculation here of GoDaddy, so you're gonna pay around 6,000 or change, and you're gonna pay around 4,000 for Elementor. So this I'm talking about per year, and totally it will come up to around 11,000 rupees per year only for having a website, maintaining a website, right? So having maintaining a website, it will cost so much, right? So rather than this, with now current advanced technology, again the WordPress word, I have something more better to suggest. Okay, so instead of WordPress, which has a lot of it's a great thing. I've been working with WordPress for last 10 years as a passion. I was doing it, and of course now we are doing it in a more serious way. But now more than WordPress, I would say there are a lot of platforms which are coming in the market, which are giving a very clean backend interface and a front-end interface, which will actually help you to build your website faster and with a low risk and high speed of how your website can uh, appear to the public. So my suggestion for you to go for hosting would be Doric. Okay, it's a great platform. Most of my websites are in Doric, some are in WordPress, which I cannot change because of the data. But now all my new websites are all on Doric, and it's been great designing tools they have, and great speed of working and launching is what Doric is giving, right? So let me give you the cost. It's around 4,800 per year, right? With GST, that is. So without GST is around 4,000 rupees. So that's the cost, and you get the entire what do you call it as designing tool free of cost. It's included in the cost, right? That's it. Instead of 11,000, you're gonna get this done, Right. So now let's look into the costing of this entire process. The first thing is name. So we have two options, right? So option one, let me give you the option one. So option one, you get your domain from GoDaddy, get your hosting from GoDaddy, which is costing around 6,500. Domain will be around 600 to 1,300. So it's an average of 1,000 rupees I've kept. And hosting, it will cost you around 6,500 rupees. I'm talking all this for per year cost. Okay. And construction tool, again, it will cost around 5,000, 4,000 change. So 5,000 rupees, which is with the Elementor. And if you go with this option, so your entire cost would be around 12,000 rupees per year plus GST would be added for option one. So let me give you a best and better option. What we have discovered is option number two, which is again, get your domain from GoDaddy. It's a great services which they provide. But when it comes to hosting, I would still go with Doric, which has a great tool, which will just charge you around 4,000 rupees per year for hosting one website. Okay. And you can save huge amount of money there. And the second thing is best about Doric is they are charging zero for an additional designing tool. It's a built-in process, so you're gonna get entire thing within that cost or free of cost of this. So you're gonna save that entire amount of design tool there. So you're gonna pay just repeated around 5,000 rupees per year with the option number two. Okay, which if I were to just tell, it will cost you just one patient, if you're one or two patients OPD consultation charges to have your own website, right? So that's around 416 rupees per month plus GST is what it takes to have your own website. And this is a maintenance cost, basically every year recurring cost to maintain your online digital presence, right? Because you have to buy a name and also buy a space in online space, and this is what it takes. So this is the best option. And the third seventh option, what as I told you, it is integration. It becomes variable based on what you want to integrate. The cost varies, but again, most of the times you get most of things at the free cost. Only if you want an advanced option, you can go for a paid ones. But basically it's cost around 5,000 rupees per year cost plus GST, which is the basic amount which you can launch your website. Okay. So now benefits of, so why I'm so much stressing on Doric, because I'm a great fan of Doric as of now, because we've built so many websites on Doric and it's so quick and so fast. I still have websites on GoDaddy with hostings in WordPress, which are pretty no lazy load, and it takes a lot of time, and I'll tell you, so much of headache maintaining your WordPress website. So Doric is a great, amazing lifesaver. So I'll tell you why it's so great. One, it's a no code builder website, so you don't require any coding. Just when how you are creating a PowerPoint like this, you can just drag and drop and build your own website. So built-in blogging platform is inside built in, so you can just launch your online posts. So it is already optimized for search engine optimization and social media to reach the max, and it is also has a search engine optimization for Google, so that you can rank up with your website. You get membership, you can create membership for your patients, you can have a gated content where not everyone gets that content, and only persons who are having that membership will get the content. That also can be created with this. You can collaborate with your teams to build it, and the best part of having this is your entire website is hosted in Amazon Web Services or digital oceans. These are cloud based services with high speed potential. This is where your website is hosted, and that's an amazing way of how you can actually reach the your consumers, right? So that gives you a very powerful way of how your website can be fastly picked up when they click and move around, right? So that's a very important point, because every second matters in terms of how fast your website is loading. Okay, and that's where they're providing your Amazon Web Services and DigitalOcean, which is a cloud-based hosting services, which is on built on. Okay, right. So just to come to some of the costs. So let me give you a cost ideation here. Okay, so that is so they have two plans, basically personal and business, which will cost you around $48. Here you can see, and business plan is actually costlier. It's around 129 for, I think, annually. Actually, it's cost for 3 websites. But however, but there are some differences. I'll tell you what is the benefit by doing this. Okay, so 3,000 members, 10,000 members, that is the membership option. So you get 25 pages. Here you get unlimited pages. The main point is blogs, because you need to write unlimited blogs, right? That's where I told the blogs are the core of the website, right? So I would say the blog is the main part. So 200 blogs going ahead would be difficult and a lot of restrictions there. Having that unlimited blog option is the best thing to have, right? So in this case, one of the offer which I'm providing you is, if you want, our team are working together to give you the best services. So if you want plan to launch a website and have a support system, so you can pay the fee of personal plan, and we'll be able to give you a business plan, right? So that is basically get Doric business plan feature for one website in the cost of personal plan if you host your website through drdigitalhealth.com, right? So that's a platform what we are in, right, which you all know. So as a Dr. Digital Health firm, we are providing you an extra edge or a benefit with, instead of you pay us just 3.29, that's $48 and plus GST, and we are going to give you the entire feature of $129, right? So not $129, basically whatever the business plan is giving for one website. Okay, so that's the thing. So you can just click the link below. You have two options. I've given two options. So if you want to launch your own website without getting that you are okay with the personal plan, I have a link in the description which is an affiliate link which you can click and get the benefit of the personal plan. Okay, and as an affiliate, we also, of course, we also get a benefit without any extra cost for you. But if you want a more benefit, what we can do is click the link there, which will be written as drdigitalhealth.com/website, where you'll be able to get the information on getting a business plan at the cost of the personal plan. Okay, so this is an extra advantage. We are actually adding it up for giving you the benefit, right? So that's what is it. So get the benefit, and you can just click the link in the description and get to it, and further discussions also I'll show you. So basically on the website you can see that 1 year plan, and you're going to have the cost would be around 4,742. So we made it as 4,800. Actually 4,000 is the cost plus GST, it comes to so much, right? And also they have some plan too, which is you can buy it for 2 years, and which will cost you around 7,000 plus. So again, if you want to save some money, again you can go for 2 year or 1 year. So you can just play the same amount to us, and we'll be able to give you the best business plan hosting for you. So basically you just pay around 4,000 per year or $48 per year plus GST. With the Doric, you get one custom domain. Instead of 3,000, you get 10,000 members. You get, instead of 25 pages, you get unlimited pages. Instead of 0 collaborations, you get 10 members to who can work and post blogs on behalf of you. Like you can add a staff as an editor, and they can post on behalf of you, right? You get unlimited 10 collaborators. You get unlimited blog post, which is the heart of the website. Unlimited storage bandwidth and custom fields and collections, all these are part of it, and that's the best advantage. Just click the link below. You get a business website with this hosting of Doric with just $48 per year plus GST. Okay, and membership features. So, and you get the entire 5,000 rupees worth normally in the WordPress space element instead of Elementor, which is free of cost when it comes to Doric, right? So now hopefully you got some more clarity, and also got idea on where you can get the best hosting and what are the best costing for building and launching your own platform, right? So now, to make things more easier and more interesting, what you have done is we have built already websites which are ready made with full templatized, right? We have built the website for different doctors, healthcare professionals, labs, pharmacists, coaches, and multiple people in different domains, and we have already scientifically structured the most of the designs, and it's ready to use it by yourself, right? If you know how to design a PowerPoint, add content and remove content, you can design your website yourself. So you can see these are some of the templates what we have used. I don't know if I keep it here, right? So these are different designs how we have it built. So you can go to a website and get the best out of it. So you can get the choose and take the templates. Of course, it comes with the cost. But it's a minimal cost compared to what development even we charge for a custom development. Okay, right. So this is actually to encourage healthcare professionals to get into digital space and not feel that so overwhelmed that the cost is so high. No, it's about understanding the entire how the digital space works and what is the basic terminologies. You'll be able to save and also have more control over the digital space of how you are branding your practices and adding more value to your consumers and patients. Okay, so that's what is this. So we already built. You can get the link in the description. So you can just visit www.drdigitalhealth.com/website, or the link is also in the description, and you can get the hosting. You can request for a hosting. Our team will get in contact with you and help you in the hosting the platform. And also, if you want, if you like any of the templates, you can just take the template with the, what are the cost there, and get the benefit out of it. And you can launch, you can I'll tell you, you can launch your website in 10 minutes, and you can design your website in half an hour, right? And that's what we are trying to do in this entire process. And in further videos, we'll be telling you in more details about how the structure goes and happens. So just watch the next video somewhere here. I'm not sure where is that, right? And or in the description, I would have given what is the next which video you have to watch if you're more interested to understand the next one, right? With that, we just discussed 7 essential website terminologies you have to understand, and we moved little more ahead to give you and clarity on the costing of a website. Okay, so currently it costs around 5,000 rupees plus GST just to have hosting and domain in the space, right? It's a maintenance recurring cost because it's a basically building a building in an online space. So you need to pay rent every year, right? And the design, it depends. Either you design it with yourself, understanding, that's great, or you take an architect, like you have hire us to build a custom designed website for yourself. Then it will be a cost huge. And but if you want to ready-made template, which again, if you are ready to edit by yourself, yes, with ready-made templates you can build your own website, and that's how easily you can grow your practice and have a digital presence just to start with. And we have a lot of content coming further to how to build an entire digital health ecosystem for your own practice, have your own basically branding process, and how you can engage patients and add more value to people. So now the preventive medicine, the preventive health or the wellness practice is booming, and that's where we'll be looking into a lot of videos coming in your way, how the digital health is growing and changing the landscape of healthcare. With that, I'll keep watching. I'll see you in the next video to add more value to you and help you to transform your healthcare practice into a digital or a hybrid practice. With that, take care. See you in the next video. Thank you.